Hey everyone, welcome back to another Fun Fact Friday live here at University Animal Clinic. I'm Dr. Sam, and I thought we're coming into hurricane season here, and one thing that I get asked a lot or that I see a lot at this time of year is, what do I do with wildlife? We get a lot of squirrels that fall out of their nests this time of year and are found in neighborhoods, baby birds that fall out of their trees and things like that. A lot of wildlife starts roaming around when there's hurricanes. So I thought we could have a little chit chat about that. So generally, if you generally stay away from wildlife, obviously, for obvious reasons, parasites, rabies, the scary things. I think most people feel like wildlife can look kind of nice sometimes, but remember, they're not domesticated, so they don't understand that if I do certain things, like a dog would pin their ears back or a cat would put their tail up, that shows you that you should stay away. Wildlife doesn't always have those same cues. They're often kind of 0 to 60, I look fine, I'm going to attack. So that can be really dangerous. So be careful about that. That's one big tip that I can give you. The other is when we're talking about orphaned wildlife. So ideally, especially for baby squirrels and things, these guys are great mothers. They're used to this. This is their norm. And so ideally, leaving them alone, leaving them where you found them, mom will generally come back for them. That old adage that if you touched them, that their scent would be there and they won't come take the baby back, that's been kind of debunked for a little while here. So they will still come back for their young if they fall out of the nest or the tree. And even if you happen to accidentally touch them and then, think, differently, they will still take that baby back. So ideally leave, especially during the daytime hours. If you find a baby squirrel that's fallen out of the nest in the morning, if you're able to keep an eye on it from a distance, I would leave it. They recommend leaving it for a full day. Not necessarily overnight, because that's when predators will come out, and we do run the risk of them being eaten and things like that. But during the day, if you're able to leave that baby there, leaving that baby there for the day, keeping an eye on it, mom will often come and take them back. You'll find that they're gone and mom has come and taken them back to the nest. So that's one big important thing. If you know where the nest is and you can see it, it's a bird or something, putting it back in the nest, that's okay. Again, you touching it isn't going to behoove them from not coming back. Also, a lot of times what we think are orphaned babies are actually just mom kind of left them in what they felt was like a very safe place while they went out and hunted for food. So they're not orphaned. Mom is close by somewhere hunting for food, and she will come back. So be careful. Many a person has been dive bombed by a mama bird who was closer than they thought, and they went to pick up the baby bird and they've got dive bombed. So be careful, because I've heard it happen. But they're usually close by hunting for food. So that's one thing. And then if you find a baby that you do feel like has been abandoned, it's about to be nightfall and you're afraid to leave it out, and you take it in, call your local wildlife rehabber or licensed wildlife rehabber as soon as possible. You can find these on Florida's Fish and Wild, for us in Florida anyway, Florida's Fish and Wildlife website. These people are amazing. They devote their whole lives, their job, to not only taking care of us and our waterways and all of those things, keeping us safe that way, but to taking care of these animals, or at least helping us find the right place for them to go. So their list is on their website for them, or if you can call, there's always somebody there 24 hours a day to direct you. The rehabber may not have somebody, but Fish and Wildlife always has somebody on the phone to direct you where you need to go. If you need to keep them overnight, keeping them warm, be careful about heating pads. These babies sometimes can't move around as much, and they could burn on a heating pad. So a heating source of some kind, blankets, things like that, to keep them warm until you can get them to a rehabber. If we are open, I've had many people call us. They find something that got hit by a car, could be injured, might be bleeding. You are more than welcome. Call the rehabber. Let them know you're going to leave them with us. We've had the rehabbers come pick them up from us often. We don't take care of them here because I'm not a licensed wildlife rehabber. So it's not something that I do, but I can stabilize them, make sure I get them to the right people who can take care of them, because this is a very specific thing. We want to re-release these animals to the wild. So imprinting and being cautious about that is part of the job. So it takes a lot of very specialized work to get these guys back out into the wild. And then on kind of what is allowed and not allowed, it is illegal in the state of Florida to keep these wildlife as pets if you want a wildlife rehabber. You can't keep squirrels as pets, raccoons, skunks. I want to be careful about all of those. These pets can change. They're not domesticated, so they may be nice one day, and that can change. And they can also carry disease if they aren't checked out. So unless you're a wildlife rehabber, please leave that to the professionals, is what I always say. And also, it is also illegal to feed wildlife in the state of Florida. Raccoons, bears, alligators, manatees, sandhill cranes. It is illegal to feed those in the state of Florida, so be careful. These guys have a specialized diet, so if we don't know what we're doing, we should not be feeding them out in the wild. We don't want to do more harm than good. That's the biggest things that I talk about, is really making sure that you call the right people. These guys, although they are warm and fuzzy and cute, we want to make sure that they get the right care that they need and they get to where they need to go. So I hope you find this helpful, especially come hurricane season. We see these squirrels dropping out of their nests or getting orphaned, unfortunately, more often than the rest of the year. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. I will answer them. If you have ideas for the next Fun Fact Friday, as always, leave those in the comments below. I want to talk about what you want to hear about. And we'll see you guys next week.